Alright, so what's going on, guys? I haven't made a video for you in a very long time, so I'm gonna be showing you guys all the tanks in my room. I only have 4 snakes, guys. I dropped down quite a bit. I had like 13 at one point. It was just getting to be too much. I got rid of the snake rack. I'm showing you where Sebi is, and the new snake tank. Um, but basically, I ended up getting rid of the snake rack and the rest of the snakes. I got rid of the spider ball python, uh, the pinstriped pastels, and monster hunter and streak. Pretty much sold a few of them, gave away a few of them. Also, Goliath, the albino, I gave away just recently, last week. In a second here, I'm going to be going into Galaxy's cage and pulling Galaxy out for you. I'm going to pull each and every one of them out one by one. Um, Doing a bit of a voiceover right now because I messed it up before. So Galaxy has gotten quite large. I actually had to separate her and Jasmine. Her and Jasmine both were living together for the last like 2 years. Unfortunately, Galaxy has almost doubled her size and weight. So unfortunately, I had to separate them, which was actually the reason for giving away Goliath, the albino bull python. I'm also not a fan of feeding live, so that snake was pretty much set in his ways of eating live, and it was kind of annoying going out and getting him a new rat. But as you can see, Galaxy is a monster compared to Jasmine. You'll see Jasmine later in the video. But this is my big girl. I got her about a year and a half, 2 years ago. You guys can check back on the videos to double check and see when the date was, to be exact. She's like a puppy dog. She's such a sweetheart. I love her to death. But you could see she's gotten quite large from my old videos and stuff like that. She's gotten monstrous, and she's just a sweetheart. You could see all I have to do is put my hand out, and she climbs right up my arm. She'll wrap around my arm here and just come back down. She'll also just sit there. I could actually just lay down in bed, and she'll just crawl up next to me and just hang out. But she's used to doing stuff like that just because of the pure fact that there was one time the power went out. She actually curled up next to me and just sat there all night long. Um, but she's an absolute sweetheart. She's grown quite a bit. She's on small rats. Uh, I give her one once a week, so not too bad. Um, Gonna be putting her back right now and moving on to the next snake. We're gonna be moving down to the little tank there. Showing you right here her vent. Our Galaxy's gone through quite a few name changes. She used to be named Goliath before I got the albino ball python and changed it to Galaxy after I found out she's a female. Um, so unfortunately, like I said, she's gone through quite a few name changes. If I sound a little weird, it's just because I'm using my Turtle Beach headset, so it's a little bit different. Moving down here, this is LB's cage. Named her LB because evil little bitch. Yeah, basically, she's a Colombian rainbow boa. She's a little sweetheart, but she's a bitch to get her out of her cage. She is literally a baby. She was a hatchling when I got her. I got it from BHB Reptiles, and I do have documentation to prove that, and I'll show that in the next video. I'll also make a day video so you guys can see the outrageous color on her body. Um, she does have some beautiful rainbows, and she actually just shed too. Um, she grew 4 inches in her last shed, which is actually quite impressive. Um, that's her right there. You can see she's a little noodle. She's going to be getting bigger very fast. She seems like she's going to be a great grower. Uh, for a Colombian rainbow boa, she's actually got a lot of red to her. I actually even think maybe possibly that BHB kind of screwed up and may have given me a Brazilian, but she does have the excuse me, the cheetah pattern underneath the belly there, like a Colombian rainbow boa would have, but she does have the light red coloration that a Brazilian rainbow boa would on the top. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I was getting a little parched. Um, but she's just a she's a little bit difficult to get out of the cage, but once she's out of the cage, she's perfectly fine. She was eating pinkies. I started her out on small mice last week, um, and she took it down perfectly fine. Didn't even struggle. I forgot that boas can actually eat food like quite larger than ball pythons can, just due to the fact that they can open their mouths wider and they can actually digest food better. Um, so I'm gonna be moving over to Sebi's tank, and you guys are gonna get a little comic relief here, because as I open up the cage and I go in, oops, I dropped the phone. um, just be glad you didn't hear that, because it was actually quite loud when I dropped it. Um, Going into the tank here, pulling out Sebi. I realized that he's in the back of it, so I had to put you guys down real quick. Um, Sebi was a ball python that I got from this girl Kim I used to work with. She was actually she was going to police academy to become a police officer. Unfortunately, she didn't have time to take care of her snakes, and she was actually the one that I got the spider and the pastels and everything but the king snake from. Um, but basically, I ended up taking him in, and he was like really bad off. And as you can see, he's actually in shed right now. I actually was surprised to find him in shed, um, just because I honestly didn't know he would actually be in shed already. Um, he's been getting pretty big pretty fast recently. He's actually growing quite large quite quickly too. Um, he went from eating pinkies when I first got him to small mice within a couple weeks, and now he's up to rat pups. He actually just took his first rat pup this past week, and he's been getting pretty big ever since then. Like I said, his shed actually kind of surprised me, caught me off guard a little bit. Sebi, like I said, when I first got him, he actually reminded me of my first ball python, Diamond. Diamond was my first ball python. Unfortunately for poor Diamond, she was a little far gone, and I didn't have the experience at the time that I do now with ball pythons. Um, Prior to Diamond, I just worked for PetSmart, and I didn't. It was like my first snake, so I didn't really know too much. Right here, I'm showing you how thick Sebi was when I first got him. He was like literally starved to death. Uh, he wasn't fed properly at all. I don't know if she knew how to feed him at all or anything, but he was probably the most sickly looking out of all of them when I first got him. His first week, he shed for me twice after I put him into the bin and got the humidity up for him and everything, temperature right and everything. He shed for me twice before eating. After he ate six pinkies first meal, four pinkies the second, five the one after that. Shed it again for me, and sure enough, all the problems that he was having were gone. Um, and then the following week, I stepped him up to a small mouse, and he's been eating that since up until last week, where I moved him up to rat pups. Um, so he's eating pretty well. He's gonna start growing some good size to him now that he's on rats. Everybody knows ball pythons get a little bit bigger with rats than they do mice. He's an absolute sweetheart as well, and I'm right here. I'm talking about the fact that he's actually possibly a het for albino. The mother, I believe, was a het for albino. The father, I believe, was an albino ball python. He was just one of the ones that came out looking like a normal. So he probably has 100% het for albino. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I actually don't know if this girl was telling me the truth or not. She kind of, like I said, didn't know what she was doing with him, so I'm not going to be surprised if the fact of the matter is that he doesn't have those genes. Um, but he's a great looking little snake, and he's also a very pretty snake and very nice male. Um, so I'm putting him back and just talking about the fact that he's a little sweetheart. He actually, after I put him back in the cage, went and jumped straight into his water bowl. It was hilarious. Um, I was actually dying laughing at him just because of the fact that he just literally just jumped right into the water dish. Um, Going over here, this used to be Goliath, my albino ball python's tank. I actually, like I said, gave him away and moved Jasmine into this tank to separate Galaxy and Jasmine, just because of the pure fact that obviously Galaxy has just gotten so much bigger. And as you can see, as I'm pulling her out here, you could just see the difference, the size difference between those two snakes. Um, and I'm kind of bobbling her around right now because she's trying to run away from me. Excuse me, sorry again. Um, but anyway, going on here, just talking about the fact that, Galaxy is really just super outgrown Jasmine. Jasmine's an absolute sweetheart too, and you can see, like, I could put my hand right in front of her, and she'll coil back a little bit, but she doesn't really get like too freaked out. She's never struck at me except for when she was like a baby. When she was a baby, she struck at me a couple dozen times, but it was just the pure fact that she didn't know who I was. The only person that used to hold her was my girlfriend, and pretty much uh, she's like, when you go from being held by a girl to being held by a guy, that's quite large compared to you. You're gonna strike at it probably as a baby snake. So, um, Jasmine hasn't eaten in about 2 months, so I am a little concerned with it, but I'm not extremely concerned. I've seen videos of ball pythons that have gone, 6, 8 months without eating and been perfectly fine. And then they eat just one random day. But basically, if she doesn't eat in the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna take her to a vet just to get confirmed that there's nothing going on, parasites or something like that. I highly doubt it. I get my frozen thawed from a pretty reputable place. It's called the Big Cheese Rodents.com. Um, and they do a pretty good job of packaging their rodents and stuff like that. And like I said, she I just think is extremely stressed out from living with Galaxy, and Galaxy just superseded her in size, so and length and pretty much everything. She's just gotten so much larger than Jasmine has. But I think it's just the food thing. Um, but hopefully she goes back to eating sometime in the next 2 weeks. I really, really am hoping that since I separated them now, she'll try taking something. She's already roaming around the cage like crazy and looking like she's hunting and stuff like that for food. So hopefully she does end up taking something for me, and I don't have to take her to the vet. Worst comes to worst, like I said, I could take her to this vet, and I've actually seen them give science diet food. It's a certain type of science diet food with a bunch of protein in it, and they inject it down their throat with a little syringe, just enough to fill their belly up, and also they give them like a vitamin and an antibiotic just to be safe. Um, I haven't seen any signs of mites or anything like that. She does have a little bit of kind of like a rubbing effect going on with her nose, just because she's been rubbing up against the screen and stuff like that. Um, just exploring the tank really, and also she bumps into the glass here or there, but it's nothing like a severe like hurting thing. And you can even tell that, like, I touch her face and she doesn't even bother to like flinch back or anything like that. Um, I also checked her mouth out earlier before this video just to check and see if there's some mouth rot going on and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing. So, like I said, I think she was just, again, really stressed out. And hopefully she goes back to eating this week, and she's being super derpy and doing a periscope thing, lifting her head up and being goofy watching TV. I hung out with her for a little while after I ended the tape here, and just hung out with her for a little bit. But again, I'm going to start doing my videos for you guys bi-weekly. I hope you guys enjoyed this update, and I'm going to start doing this bi-weekly for you guys. Obviously, not a lot changes with snakes, but the next video will be if Jasmine didn't eat. It'll be a video on me taking her to the vet or something. Um, but again, I really am going to try to get back into this and start posting videos again. Um, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Comments are always welcome. Um, Other than that, have a good night, guys. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed.